Hey, I'm Brandon with RevZilla, and today we are checking out the Alpinestars Supertech R Boots, available at RevZilla.com. So you might be familiar with the Supertech Rs. They've been around since about 2015, but we do have some updates to this particular boot. This is the latest version of the Supertech Rs, and we're going to talk about what has changed and why. But before I do, just know these are the top tier premium level sport boots from Alpinestars. I mean, they work directly with Marc Marquez to develop these boots and to continue to iterate on changes and updates throughout the boots over the years. And this is the latest version, which we're going to talk about and compare it to the old model. This is the old model over here on my right hand side, so some things have changed. We'll get into that. Before we do, I do want to talk about the overall fit. I think that's very important, why a lot of people hop online to watch these videos. These are fitting very much true to size. So if you've worn Alpinestars in the past, I would certainly say stick with your typical Alpinestars riding shoe size, and you should be all set. Just get your measurements, reference the sizing chart, and you should be all set. Large size range available, multiple colors available in these particular riding boots as well. And keep in mind, these will ship to you for free. As always, we do have our price match policy in place that is there to ensure that you're getting the best deal around. These are right about $500. No price difference from the previous model to this one now, which is always great to see improvements and not have the price go up there. If you wanted to take a step down, you could check out the SMX Plus V2. Those are available. I think they're around $390, about $400. Don't quote me on that, but it's around that price point there. A bit less than these. There's no inner bootie, but similar, tall boot style. Good torsional and lateral protection with those particular boots as well. But let's talk about these. Let's start here at the toe. We do have reinforcement at the toe. The shifter pad itself is a little bit more low profile in comparison to the old version of this. Not really a big deal, but it is a light update in comparison. The toe slider itself, this is an aluminum slider. Those are going to share the same part number. They are replaceable, but nothing has changed there. One thing that I think is worth pointing out, I'll turn that one to the side so you can see, they did update this a little bit more coverage with that TPU material right there. And then the heel itself is pretty much the same, hard TPU wrapping around all the way around this riding boot. As you can see, that's a really good piece of protection that you've got there on both styles, of course on the old version as well, but I like having that additional crush protection with these particular boots. The other thing I wanted to point out, there is a regular version and there is a vented version. This is the regular version, even though that you're going to see these vents and bellows, if you will. They kind of act as bellows right here, but that's still going to get some airflow to the boots. But the vented version is going to have perforated leather all throughout it, so it is going to maximize your airflow. So if you need that ventilation, you need that maximum airflow, there is a version of that available. One of the other things I wanted to update, this got a slight update around the shin. Nothing major there, but you can see just a little bit more protection, a little bit more integrity in that particular area. Let's talk about the inner bootie real fast here. So that's the newest version of that. I'm going to swing this new model over here. We'll just get that out of the way for a hot second. And these are the inner booties. This is where you're getting most of that protection. Maybe you don't know it, but this is pretty much just a leather cover. This is very bendy. You've got some bits and pieces on there that are going to give you some excellent crush protection and reinforcement in the toe and the heel and those things that I covered before. But that's a shell that's providing you abrasion resistance and protecting that inner bootie. The inner bootie is where that torsional and lateral protection is coming into play. That's where this stuff is so key, because as you can see, you've got a little bit of movement forward and backward. It's going to help with hyperextension and things like that, but it's not going to allow you to go side to side. That's where you're getting that medial and lateral protection there. It's only going to allow movement so much. So it's a good combination of protection without sacrificing all the tactile feel. If you're familiar with an MX boot, I mean, those boots are beefy and really restrict the tactile feel. And you want that tactile feel when you're pushing your bike and pushing yourself out there in the track riding application. You can see update here with the inner booties. This is the newest version, and it's got a tighter weave mesh, and I really like the redesign on the toe. I think this is a bit more comfortable, and it's got some additional integrity built into it all the way around. As we swing around to the back of it, you can see the pull tab did get an update. I personally like this better. It's much easier to pull on. I'm used to this with kind of MX style boots. Something like the Tech 10s, I think, have a large pull tab like that. Nothing major, but it is an update. I think it's an improvement. And again, they didn't change the price. They're just taking the feedback from one of the greatest racers in the world, Marc Marquez, and helping develop these boots even further, which is always nice, because as the technology progresses, as it improves, as it gets more comfortable, as it gets more protective, I mean, all that trickles down to the everyday rider like myself and like you guys out there. So I really like what they are doing. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of that one, push this bootie back over here. So if you're looking for the top level, top tier racing boot from Alpinestars, the Supertech R Boots are definitely gonna be the one to take a closer look at. Again, price didn't change. We've got excellent combination of tactile feel, protection built into these, and you've got a ventilated version, which is gonna breathe a ton of air. If I had to nitpick one thing though, I think a little bit of additional airflow towards the rear, some bellows, something like that would have been nice to have, similar to what we have in the front, just to keep that airflow moving out there. When I'm on the track, I build a ton of heat. I'm sweating like crazy out there in full leather. So any additional airflow I can get, I certainly would appreciate. But overall, the Supertech Rs are an incredible, incredible pair of boots. If you're looking for more details, click that info button. That's going to take you over to RevZilla.com, where you can read other rider reviews and just see what other riders utilizing these boots have said about them. You can check out the older version, the 2015, over here on my right-hand side, and I'm sure you'll see that they've been a top-of-the-line boot, and only minor updates with the newest one, but it's going to be a great option. If you have any questions about these boots or any other gear you might be looking at, please don't hesitate to reach out. Give our Gear Geeks a call. Hit them up at 877-792-9455, or simply shoot over an email, cs@RevZilla.com. Thanks for hanging out with us, taking a closer look at the Alpinestars Supertech R Boots. I'm Brandon. Keep it pinned.